My grandfather passed away, my uncle went to prison, and a couple years later my mother died. And at that point, I started dabbling in using drugs because, to be honest, I didn't even smoke pot or drink until I was like 18 years old.
Welcome to this week's edition of Recovery Happens. Today we're going to be sitting down with Steve as he offers hope to encourage recovery.
I grew up in Detroit on Seymour and Kelly. I was blessed with a grandfather who loved me dearly and made sure that I was in private schools in that area, but it was still the area that it is. I actually had a very wonderful upbringing most of my life. Honestly, I think I had it worse than some and just, better than others. It set the tone for where my life would go. When I realized I had a problem with drugs or alcohol, it's really two different answers. I did a lot of illegal things with drugs before I ever used. The nature of my family and the things that they were into. Growing up, I thought that that's what we did. That you get into these lifestyles and this is how you make your money and things. And then I got a little older, and my grandfather passed away. My uncle went to prison, and a couple years later, my mother died. And at that point, I started dabbling in using drugs because, to be honest, I didn't even smoke pot or drink until I was like 18 years old. And that only lasted so long. But when my mother passed away, it really amped up in my life. And, I went, I used to tell people that it didn't bother me. And then when I got into recovery and I could look back on my life, I realized just how much it had affected me and how my life had started to spiral. But actually using drugs as a escape, and where it really became a problem, I was probably like 25, 26 years old. I started doing, I started smoking pot again and, doing a lot of illicit drugs, a lot of cocaine and things like that. And that progressed very quickly into crack and heroin. And the next 10 years of my life was really, really the story we all know already. All of those things that we do when we're living that life, I did. And very, very fortunate that, at 36 years old, things happened that made me change that. I've been in long-term recovery for 5.5 years. January 3rd is my recovery date. So I'm pushing 6 at this point. And like I said, it has been a wonderful, wonderful ride for me. It is, even at close to 6 years, I still have things that come up. Life still shows up. But more importantly for me is that even as new things in my life, as new character defects show themselves or old ones reappear and say, here I am, I'm willing to ask for help from people. I went back to therapy because recovery for me is not just, I need to quit the drugs and alcohol. That's where it started for me. It's a complete lifestyle, and the willingness to be accountable to my life and to accept that I have issues and that they're deep-seated sometimes, and that I'm always going to be in this practice, and it's always going to be something new and different that I need to deal with. What I do today in my recovery is I'm a peer recovery coach in the ERs. I also run 3 quarter houses in the Macomb area, which allows me to be an example to other people in recovery of how it works if you put the energy in, and that there's no limit to where you can take these things. And I'm also the president of the men's chapter of Drug Free All Stars. And our purpose is to meet people where they're at, to help them in whatever pathway their recovery looks like for them. We believe in multiple pathways to recovery. I know that I've taken several, and I still practice several. So, we have chapters in Macomb, Oakland, and Genesee counties. We have numbers for those on the websites. So if people need help, we just try to help them. I can only speak to my experience, but my recovery has been very, very blessed. I have You know, I've acquired a lot of things because, you know, I've found some jobs and some business opportunities that I truly love that, you know, allow me to live my life the way I like to live it. But what I really found, because I was willing to take, you know, pathways and not think that I had answers anymore and really listen to what the people around me were telling me, I found peace, you know, inside me, you know, and in my mind and in my heart and in my soul. I've found, you know, I've found an ease where I'm okay with what I've done in the past. I'm not real worried about where my future is going because I know that I have plans, and as long as I keep living, you know, right and not using, all of those things can happen for me, and most of them are happening for me. So my recovery story is one of love and joy and peace and multiple pathways and, you know, all kinds of things. I tell people all the time, they're like, how are you? I'm like, I'm blessed in every way possible.
Thank you for watching this week's edition of Recovery Happens. If you want to help strengthen the recovery community, partner with us by visiting our website and going to bwrock.org and click donate. We'd like to thank our sponsor, Drug Free All Stars.